if you want to go expensive in Tokyo, it's not
could.
hard to find expensive things. And the other thing is, I think that a lot of the Western like cost of living indexes go off of like a Western living style, like
Gotcha.
average size, like a
Okay.
500 square feet apartment, or like
That's not
eating
average size, by
Western
the way.
food. Oh, I don't know what it is.
That's so small.
Oh, that's small?
Yes.
Oh, that's small?
Yeah.
Yes.
My
Oh.
apartment right now in San Francisco is 800 square feet, but
Yeah.
it's but it's like super expensive. But in Florida, we could have got 1,000 square foot place for like super cheap.
Yeah.
Like a
that's
2-bedroom, 1,000 square foot place, no problem. Really cheap.
Hey there. Welcome to the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast, where you are encouraged to express your natural thoughts and views through casual, meaningful conversations that hopefully can lead to learning and understanding new perspectives. To find out more info, visit www.GFOThoughts.com. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wong and Robert Din. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts. And today we have a special guest from far, far away. His name is Jason, and we are gonna dive into because is one of Robert's good co-worker friends. So we're gonna dig some dirt from Robert as well. Hopefully, he can tell us
some dirt on me. All right.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know about that.
Jason, please tell us some good dirt about Robert. But anyway,
I've only been here for a month, but
yeah,
there might be some spills in this
there we
episode.
go. And then obviously with me, Robert Din. So Robert, take us home.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, Jason is a new coworker of mine. It's been about a month that you just started on our team. Yeah. So it's been cool getting to know him. I don't know if he has any dirt on me.
You never know.
I don't know.
I mean, he might be observing. You never know.
I think all the dirt might be from the podcast if he's listening to anything.
All right. So, what are your drinkings, fellas, today?
Yeah, Jason, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking the only thing I had in my fridge that wasn't milk or coffee, because that's all I drink mostly these days.
Oh my god!
And it's this carton of almond milk I just bought.
So it's just like a Japanese almond milk. Nice.
Yeah, although I think it tastes exactly like Western almond milk, to be honest. But,
oh really?
All right. Yeah. I actually don't even know why I bought it. It's not sweet. It says sugar free. Actually,
that's nice. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in English. Wait, is that in English?
No, it wasn't.
No, that's in Japanese.
Oh, you were pointing at something. I couldn't tell.
Wow.
I couldn't tell.
You point at it. You didn't know.
It says it down there at the bottom, actually.
Oh, so wait, can you read Japanese?
Yeah. I can read
okay.
A carton of almond milk. No.
Got it.
Yeah, Jason's in Japan, right? Where in Japan?
Oh yeah, I should say that. I'm in Tokyo. I'm like the middle of Tokyo, literally.
Man, what time is it now over there?
It's almost 2 p.m. Yeah.
Oh, 2 p.m. Really?
Yeah, it's 14 hours difference with East Coast and 17
Yeah,
hours.
Robert, we had
West
our
Coast.
time off a little bit.
I know, and he's in the future, right? So he can tell
he's
us
in the future.
Yeah.
He's like tomorrow.
It is. It's February the 20th here. And
Yeah.
There we go.
the world is still going on. Hasn't ended yet.
It's still Friday for us right now.
I know it's like Friday night. Actually, it might be Saturday morning for you, Mike. Right? Almost.
Not yet.
Almost.
Yeah.
Super late out there.
All right. So Robert, what are you drinking?
I am drinking this bottle of Pinot.
Oh wow! I didn't know it's that kind of.
Hey, any drinks you want. Any drinks
you want. You
I
feel
brought
free.
some almond milk and
Yeah.
some fancy wine.
Fancy
my
wine.
gosh.
This is from Santa Barbara County.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty good so far.
I got my coffee with Kahlua. So, tasting coffee with Kahlua.
Jason, if you want to add some like whiskey or something to your almond milk,
I actually don't
ahead.
even have any alcohol here. Wait, but isn't it midnight? You're drinking coffee?
Yeah, it's nice. It's awesome.
What?
Have you ever heard of an espresso martini before? Come on, man.
I have, but
It's amazing. You got to try it.
oh my
Yeah,
god.
Red Bull vodkas. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jason, I think like do you like normally are hard to like sleep after coffee and stuff?
I wouldn't say that it's hard to sleep, but I just have a sort of personal rule or like best practice to not drink coffee after.
Certain time.
Yeah, like in the afternoon sort of thing.
I usually do stick by that except for Fridays.
Oh, okay.
I never
It's a
stick
wild
to that.
night.
I
Oh.
never stick to that. I think I've said this on the show before. I used to chug a Red Bull before I go to bed. Like
That's true. It's bad.
Why?
It was really bad.
Because I like the taste of Red Bull. So I was like, I'll drink this. But
why don't you drink it when you wake up?
I did. I drink it when I wake up. I drink it for everything. Like I
Oh
drank
my
so
God.
much Red Bull before. But yeah,
All right.
I can drink
All right,
coffee anytime.
we're getting off track right now. Okay. All right. So Jason, all right. So please tell us, what are you doing right now in Tokyo, and let us know how do you even meet Robert after a month into the working with him? How do you even find him? Like, oh, I'm gonna find him.
We're on the
online.
same team, Mike. Okay,
I don't know. You can,
that's why.
how big's the team? Can you tell us how big's the team? Why pick Robert? Come on, man. You can do better.
Why did I pick Robert?
I totally agree. You could totally do better. I'm the wrong guy to be friend.
All right, so tell us what you do in Tokyo.
I don't even. Okay, so what I'm doing in Tokyo is I'm working with Robert at some undisclosed crypto company.
Yep.
And we do a lot of the analytics behind the scenes of what goes on with the crypto and the money and everything that happens at the company.
Nice.
Yeah, our team, Robert, is like I can say this, right? Like 10 people, 10ish people.
Yeah,
that's pretty big. That's pretty big team.
Yeah, I think it's grown.
Yeah.
When I joined, it was 6.
Oh, okay.
And that was like 7 months ago.
So, so it's grown a lot.
Yeah, that's grown. It's grown. Yeah.
Loading.
Yeah. So you had a chance to pick Robert. 1 out of 10. You picked Robert. Wow.
Well, actually, I picked everyone because when you join a team, you gotta talk to everyone on the team, and
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, like being remote, it's just like one-on-one video calls with everyone since we can't all just meet up or anything.
You guys have like virtual happy hours together?
Not. Do you guys do that?
We actually haven't done that at all, really.
Really? We have a bunch of happy hours in our remote work. Like they force us to do it just to meet people to get comfortable to do it. So we can charge hours for it. So which is
you
nice.
charge out So Mike's a consultant. So they don't really do any work. They just charge.
That's not true at all.
Oh, okay.
They just book hours to their people.
No. It's internal hours, guys. It's not like client hours. Okay, there's a difference.
No, I've watched what's that, House of Lies, and they just book the hours to their client no matter where they are.
That's the reason why they call House of Lies, man. This whole show's a lie. All right, so how you liking Tokyo so far, Jason? I love Tokyo, by the way. I've been there like 3 times. So.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah. I love Tokyo.
Yeah, like I really, really like it too. And being a young person,
wait, hang on, time out.
Yeah,
who are you?
So for people who aren't looking, right?
Yes.
Jason, he's Asian. One, he's Asian, so he could be anywhere between.
He looks like 18 years old right now, by the way.
He could be anywhere. He could be anywhere between like 15 and 65, and we wouldn't know. But he does look very young.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And aren't you like half? Are you full Japanese too, or are you half us? Are you
so genetically, I'm full Japanese. Actually,
Okay.
My mom and dad are both Japanese.
Got it.
And I'm okay to say this, but I'm 26. I don't know how old you guys are actually, but
okay. So you're not that baby. Okay, you're a little young.
No. I am a young adult.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I thought you said 21. Then we have
to might just sign some more papers. And yeah, like being this age, being in Tokyo, and just like having the freedom that you have when you're young, it's a great experience. I will say it's a great city to be in. When I was back in home, so I'm from Canada. I don't know if we're going to go into this. I think I would have been a lot happier there maybe if I was a bit older, if I had a family. Like Canada's a very easy place, I feel, to raise a family. Settle down,
Gotcha.
in the future. But seeing as I'm just here alone and young,
so you have no family there at all?
I have some family, but they're a bit further out in a few other cities.
Gotcha.
So really it's just me here in Tokyo alone.
A big city.
Yeah, and it's great.
So where'd you come from Canada? What city? Montreal, Toronto, where like?
I am from Toronto, where I was born, and pretty much my whole life grew up there. Yeah.
I worked in Toronto for 7 months. Let me tell you.
Oh, really?
During the cold winter, it was amazing.
Oh.
Dude, I hate snow. We didn't have a car there. I had to take the train out from this into downtown. And then
Oh,
downtown, take the train all the way to north to the factory area, come back down to downtown every single day, Monday to Thursday. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
brutal.
It was yeah, and then and I had to fly back to California. Let me tell you, that was fun.
Man, the change between Toronto and California had to be like ridiculous.
Dude, the weather was fucking going negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit to like 75 degrees.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember when I was looking at places to move from Florida, I was like nowhere where it snows. Like I don't think I could do it. Snow is like a no-go.
Hey,
Especially
you missed Austin. Aren't you glad you didn't move to Austin?
I know. I'm so happy I
Yeah.
didn't move to Austin. For people who
Good
don't
pick.
know, Austin this
Was
week
snowed
they
in.
got snowed in, and then they
Yep.
lost electricity, lost like heat. They lost everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the snow hasn't melted yet. It's been like 4 days now, I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are
Obviously, they're
both
not.
from hot places?
Yes, we both originally from Florida and then migrated West Coast.
Okay.
Robert is in San Francisco. I was in LA for a little bit. Now I'm back to Florida. So
Okay.
we stay in warm places no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. San Francisco's not so warm. It's more like constantly cool, like always the same cool. And I like that. I just don't like it too cold or too hot. So
Yeah, you don't like the sweat. You hate it. You hate the
yeah,
humidity.
hate that sweat.
All right, so Jason, tell us a little bit about Japan. What have you liked so far about it? What have you haven't liked so far about it? Like what disliked about it? So
Oh,
How's
that's
the
a hard
ramen?
question. That's a hard
well,
question.
first of all, how's
why-
the ramen? Okay.
Oh,
How's what?
No, that's a big important question. How's the ramen? Okay, that's a very important question.
how's the ramen?
How's the ramen? Oh, the ramen's really good. Of course.
There's so many types of ramen there.
Oh yeah, definitely anything like you said, ramen or food related is like hands down much better than it was in Canada or just any North American country in general. What else is really good? Like it's super convenient to live in Tokyo. Like the trains go everywhere. They're relatively affordable. I don't need a car.
Is Tokyo kind of open or shut down ish? So just wondering.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
So we're technically under what they're calling a state of emergency.
Still? Okay.
Yeah. But that being said, everything is open pretty much, but it closes at 8 or
Set
some
up a
places.
curfew.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you guys have
so
a curfew.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a legal curfew. Like you can go walk around at night if you want.
But the businesses though, right?
Businesses close, and so there's pretty much nothing to do after like.
How about the
8 p.m.
bars and clubs?
I think most of them are closed too right now.
Okay.
Actually,
Gotcha.
so
Hey, most
yeah.
are wait. So
No, some are probably open. Yeah.
so they say okay, 8:30, all the businesses have to close. But
Yeah.
if you're a bar or a if you're a bar or a club, you can stay open.
No,
How does that work?
it's a request from the government for
It's a
business.
recommended curfew. That's what it is.
Recommended.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Oh.
recommended
Yeah.
curfew.
You know, you have to pick a Florida recommended question. You know,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So like in Florida, how they're like, you know what, you should probably
close.
not be hanging out with other people. But if you do, like, we don't really care. We're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
Pretty much.
but I feel like they're more safe about it. Everyone actually wear masks there. You know, they're a little
Yeah.
bit more aware about that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
a little different though. Come on, all right. And they're cleaner there. Let me tell you, they're super clean. So
yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, it's super clean. Yeah, it's just like it's a very easy place to live. I feel just like it's a very high quality of life overall, and you actually don't even, I would say, like don't need a ton of money like in some of the American cities where rent is super expensive and such
yeah,
to live a good life. Yeah.
I thought Tokyo was one of the
It's
more
expensive too, yeah.
cities in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has this image of being very expensive, and if you want to go expensive in Tokyo, it's not hard to find expensive things. And the other thing is I think that a lot of the Western like cost of living indexes go off of like a Western living style, like
gotcha.
average size, like a
Okay,
500 square feet apartment, or like
that's not
eating
average size, by
Western
the way.
food. Oh, I don't know what it is.
That's so small.
That's
Oh, that's small?
Yes.
Oh, that's small?
Yeah.
Yes.
My
Robert,
apartment, my apartment right now in San Francisco is 800 square feet, but
Yeah.
it's but it's like super expensive. But in Florida, we could have got 1,000 square foot place for like super cheap.
Yeah,
like a 2-bedroom, 1,000 square foot place, no problem, really cheap. So anywhere but like a big city, like it's really easy to get.
So let me ask you this: you came from Toronto, right?
Yeah.
I guess for you, how was it? I guess was it hard to adapt to Tokyo-ish? Or I mean, obviously you're still probably adapting right now, right? And so like, or you thought it was a very easy move from big city to another big city?
Well, like I always grew up in cities, so in Toronto, I didn't grow up in like the city, what you would call like the downtown part of the city. I grew up in the suburbs, where I'm sure a lot of people did. So it wasn't, but like the city was always, like a 30-40 minute drive away, and I was used to crowds and tall buildings. So it's not like coming here there were any shocks of city life.
That's true.
To say. So I think overall it was quite an easy transition, to be honest. And I also remember I used to come here as a kid every few years, just to see some of the family I have here. And so, yeah, it wasn't hard to transition. Like I was sort of familiar with where things are, and
you speak the language. That probably helps a lot.
that helps a lot. I didn't actually speak when I came here. I didn't speak too much. Yeah.
Oh,
what do you mean? So wait, hang on. At your household, what did you speak?
We spoke 100% English.
Get out of here.
You speak
100%.
100% English. Wow.
Yeah, at home.
Wait, do you know French growing up in Toronto?
We have to learn French, but I don't speak any French.
But if you were to, you probably could read a little bit, understand a little bit.
Oh yeah, like if you show me like a menu or a book, I could probably pick out some of the major stuff in there.
I think it's in Quebec where you like have to know French, right?
Yeah. The French is the primary language.
Yeah, I'm Montreal too, I believe too, right?
Yeah, they speak it.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So I think I watched this YouTube video where they said Toronto has like all these abandoned mansions. There.
What?
Like
wait, no way.
Yeah, like outside the city, there's these huge mansions that are abandoned.
Why?
I don't remember like the whole video, but I was just wondering, like this is for real. This is a thing. Like I like you can look it up. Abandoned mansions in Toronto.
Toronto? Why would they be abandoned?
I think I don't know. Unbelievably expensive abandoned mansions, right?
Really?
I'll send you this link, guys. It's
why would they? Because like I don't know about Florida, but like the population in Toronto is just like exploding. Or historically,
these are on the outskirts. These are not like in the city. These are huge mansions outside of Toronto. Oh, this is the U.S. A lot of these are U.S. What is this?
Well, I heard a lot. I was called Toronto's definitely a booming city for sure, because I know companies are moving in there to work there and stuff. So I'm pretty sure, because one of my projects was merging companies there. So
okay.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. So migrating to another country now, obviously a month in one. If you were, I guess, if you were to rate it 1 through 10, how's your transition been? Like excellent, or has Japan made it easy for, I guess, immigrant coming in? Like, do they actually give you a mean look or anything like that at all? I mean, actually, you may get away with it because you are Japanese. So, but they notice foreign people there for sure. Like, obviously.
Yeah.
They know you're foreign, right? When they meet you.
1 through 10. Okay. 1 being the worst and 10 being the best.
Well, I mean, I would say my experience is probably like an 8 or 9 on this scale, but like I would also need to preface it with I would also need to make it explicit that like I probably don't have an average experience of coming here. Like I'm actually not an immigrant technically, as I actually have like a Japanese passport and I'm a citizen.
Oh, nice. So you have dual citizenship.
Yeah, so it was never an issue of like needing to go to the immigration office and filling out paperwork. I could just come in here and start working, sort of thing.
Oh,
how does that helps a lot.
Wait, how does that work? When were you born in Japan, or were you born in?
The parents help it. They're probably the parents.
Yeah, right? I was born in Canada, but Japan is a country like I think every country in the world is. If one of your parents has a citizenship, you get it through the parent.
I don't think that's how the U.S. is.
That's how I got my British passport.
Oh, you have a British passport?
My dad's from Hong Kong.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. So
cool. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't too hard to get set up for myself, but I do know like some people who are not from Japan, there is discrimination. And the other thing, which I think would actually be surprising to a lot of people, is that the discrimination in Japan is actually, I believe it's 100% legal.
Wait, what do you mean
What
by
do you
that?
mean by that?
Okay, so like
Yeah.
in Canada, for example, there are laws stating that like you cannot treat someone differently on the basis of, you know, their gender, their race, their
Of course.
sexual orientation, etc.
Yeah.
There's no such law in Japan, and so it's very common for like landlords and people to just say no, like because you're a foreigner, they don't want to rent to you.
Oh, so typically so like, do they ask you for your passport when they ask you
They do ask you for your citizenship, or they ask you,
for the work
like,
for visa, some other things like that? Okay,
if you're a foreigner, yeah, they will ask you all those details.
gotcha.
That's different than racist though, right? Like
No, but
it's more.
they can do it very nicely. Say no, sorry, we can't rent to you. But somebody else, they could lie to you. Like say, hey, sorry, we had rented somebody else, right? If you think about it.
I mean, would you rather they lie to you? I'd rather just be like, yeah,
I'd rather they
you're
lie
not-
to me. Screw that shit. I would
you're
get so
not
mad.
Japanese. You're not
No, they do,
Japanese.
but
We
no,
want-
they
we-
they 100% say that to some people, like because you're a
very
foreigner.
straightforward.
I mean,
rent to you.
just like going off
Yeah.
of how Japanese people how they like go about their business, right? Like going to like the Olympics or something. They're cleaning up everything. Like I think their culture seems like more
Nice.
respectful, right? So if you have like some immigrant coming in, they might not have those same ideals, and they might not treat your stuff the
That's-
way that
That's so
you
true,
would
though.
think.
Yeah,
That's part of it, yeah.
we could talk about
obviously-
we could talk
yeah.
about perspective view and imagery about Americans a little bit later on. But I mean,
Okay.
but hang on. So you're saying because they don't have this as like a law in a sense, so they have the freedom to do this? Because I guess when I mean, obviously, so I help my parents rent out places looking for looking for tenants and stuff to the houses. I don't ask them, hey, do you have a passport? You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, so it's kind of weird, you know, like, you know, oh, you have a work visa by any chance? You know?
Yeah.
So
It might just be
I'm-
our culture too. Like in America,
Yeah.
it's different group of people, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that is kind of weird to ask for a passport, or I mean, you definitely ask for paperwork when you're signing.
You do, right? You
papers,
ask
right?
you try to ask for like pay stubs and proof of your income and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
And
Yeah,
you
work
need,
stuff
like
makes sense, work
IDs and
stuff.
stuff for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
work stuff makes sense to me, which is fine. I get that because I mean, obviously, if you're working for somebody, you're gonna have social security. You're gonna have stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I mean, at least in America. So
Yeah.
But if you don't have an ID, I mean, I could see it also being like, no, we can't.
well, that's a
Right,
different
yeah.
story. So I guess did you get your ID I guess the Japanese ID yet or not yet?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just like show my passport and they'd be like, oh, that's fine because
Oh,
you're a
that's
citizen.
technically
Yeah.
that's technically your ID though. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the first, I guess, ID you have when you come
Gotcha.
here. Yeah.
Did you get a scooter yet?
A scooter? I don't
To
have
drive
a scooter.
around. To
I
drive
walk.
around, you know?
Wait,
You
dude,
walk?
is there a lot of scooters in Japan? People.
I seen a
There's-
lot of.
There's
I
a
seen-
good amount of scooters. Like there's way more
Yeah.
than like you can't. There's no scooters in Canada because it's just
It's too
snowy
far away.
half the year. Yeah. And
So there's a ton of
so
people
fast.
riding around on scooters.
Bicycles. There's a lot of
There's
bicycle people
a
there.
ton of bicycles. Yes, there might even
Yeah.
be more cyclists than people walking in like a suburban area.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um,
I've seen that.
I've almost gotten run over a few times by bicycle people there. Let me tell you. And this was in the city.
yeah, crazy.
Jason, you should get an electric skateboard.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I
I'm.
I
I
have.
don't know,
one.
man. It's so
illegal.
crowded there, though. I would not trust that. Like, do they have electric? I forgot. Did they have electric scooters there or no? I wasn't sure. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Not that I know of, but most bikes.
Wait, when
these
you're saying
days are
scooters, you're
electric.
saying moped,
The
or
little scooter thing
Yeah.
that you have in SF.
you're saying a moped, not
mopeds,
not a
yeah.
scooter like a kick scooter.
No. Like
Okay.
actually, like
a moped.
yeah,
Okay, that
moped,
makes
yeah,
sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, even if you get an electric skateboard, I just don't trust the people there. Too many people, too
Oh,
crowded.
really?
They're dangerous,
crowded.
right? Like you can just go launching into people if you're not
Yeah.
careful. Yeah,
That's
they're
for sure.
probably illegal here. Like they're quite strict with what you can ride.
Oh, really?
Really.
Electric,
Yeah.
electric skateboard might be illegal.
I would probably bet you it's illegal. Yeah.
Wow.
It's probably, I think he's right. I think there's some restriction. You cannot ride certain things in certain areas too. By the way, because if there's so many pedestrian walking around certain area, they're not gonna allow you to ride that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I miss about Tokyo though? Let me tell you, the vending machines.
Wait, what are you talking about, Mike?
Jason, you want to explain the vending machine situation there?
Yeah, well, like Japan's actually known as, I don't know if you've ever been here, Robert, but it's the country with the most vending machines per capita in the world.
Yes. Yep.
And everywhere you go, like I can just walk out my door and walk like 30 seconds. There's a vending machine. There's just vending machines everywhere in the country. And I mean, like
in alleys in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. It's like, you're ever thirsty? Just get a drink.
Hot tea, cold tea, water.
Oh, there's like
drink.
So vending machines here are just like cold drinks and snacks.
Yeah.
It's like sodas or snacks. That's usually what it is.
You can get like hot drinks from them too. And there's like other ones like ice cream vending machines and other stuff, which I usually don't get. It's usually just drinks. But yeah, it's super nice.
Can you get alcoholic drinks from them too?
At some places, yeah, you can actually, which is sort of concerning.
But it's not concerning at all.
It seems concerning. Is there a law, like an age limit for drinking there?
Yeah, I forgot.
The legal age to drink in Japan is 20, but
is it really 20? I didn't know that. I thought it was younger.
Yeah, it's 20. But what like I think a lot of North Americans don't realize is that drinking laws, or like the attitudes towards drinking, I know it's like this in Europe and probably even more so in Japan, are a lot more lax. It's not considered as bad to drink. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think all over the world except US.
So let me ask you this though. What's the age you can get a driver license there?
Oh, I don't know. It might be 18. It might be 20.
Oh, so you okay. So you can, I guess that makes sense. Okay.
I think you can drive before you could drink, like in many countries.
So in Germany, I think you could drink at 16 and then drive at 18. So they make sure that you
know what it's like to feel drunk before you ever drive. I think that makes more sense.
That makes a lot of sense. That really does,
right?
Yeah.
Also, when you give people the experience younger, then it's not as like it's not as taboo, and then when it gets to that point, they're not going nuts.
Oh yeah, like when they 21, they don't back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Canada, what's the age drinking limit in Canada? Just wondering.
In the area of Canada I'm from, it's 19. I believe.
Wait, does it vary?
It varies.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So like Quebec is 18 for some reason, and
so you can just go to Quebec and drink earlier if you want to.
Yeah. That's why like a lot of people on the border,
this is across the border.
Yeah, it's known that when you're like 18, you just
imagine a bunch of bars in the border, Robert. Imagine all the bars.
I think there are.
There's
just
gotta
for those
be
kids
bars
who want to
in the
go over.
What a business model.
Yeah.
No, you just gotta put up those vending machines.
Wait, what's the University of Quebec? I'm gonna actually Google this University of Quebec to see where they're sitting and how far from the border they are.
It's a place called Ottawa in Canada, and you can just cross the river, and then you're in Quebec, and then
you're really in the river. I'm like, oh shit!
Yeah, you see the cross.
You can actually. So
that's nuts.
That's really nice though. You just take the train. That's what you do.
I think you just walk. I don't know. I'm not from there.
Actually, it's really close. Wow.
Yeah. There's like one city just split in half with that river.
That's pretty funny though. Oh man. So people just party there at the age of 18. There we go.
Yeah. And
so which province has like the highest age?
I feel like it's 20 though. I mean, sorry, 19, but I don't know which one has the highest. Yeah.
So United States is the only one that has 21 years old.
Probably
in the world. Yeah, I think so. Right. 21 is really old, to be honest. And I think, like you were saying, like it's sort of sad to say, but the like Americans I met when I was 19 or 20 years old or whatnot.
Were you out drinking them?
Well, I'm not gonna say anything because they can't be drinking yet because they're still 19.
But you met them in Canada though, right?
Oh, like this is, for example, like when I went on an exchange term, and I was still, I think I was like 21 at the time, and maybe there are some 20-year-old Americans who also went. Just like the attitudes towards alcohol and drinking were very different, where like, you know, if you're 21 and the legal age is 19, you've been drinking for 2 years already, and it's like you've gone through that phase of like learning how much you can drink and thinking it's cool. And these American kids are just like, yo, guys, look what I got. Beer. And I'm like, cool. Like, big deal.
So hang on, this exchange was it in America or was it in Canada? Sorry.
Oh, I went on exchange to Singapore where the drinking age I think, is
Singapore.
also 20, maybe. Yeah.
Singapore's older, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And yeah, I just feel like in general, it's better to let people do these things earlier because they learn. Like, obviously not like a 8-year-old shouldn't be drinking anything, but like you should be allowed to experiment and learn what you like and what you don't like at a
Hey,
younger
listen,
age.
I've seen parents putting a little bit of whiskey in the lips of the babies. They passed out.
That is yeah. It works every time. Perfect.
Whoa.
I quit drinking before I turned 21. And then I started up again when I was like 20, 25.
Oh, okay.
Like it was
Okay.
it was it's just going to college, you get the experience of like drinking even before the age.
Yeah, you do.
But
let's be real.
If we're gonna be honest about it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just quit. Like I was like, I'm done with it. I don't want this anymore. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just slowed down my drinking after college too, though, like a lot. So, well, after a couple of years into consulting, and that's when like, okay, you know what, free drinks. I'll start drinking a little bit more. But, once you got to Vegas, also too, it was nuts a little bit for the first 6 months there.
I think I didn't drink that much in college to begin with, right? Like I didn't drink that much, and then I think when I moved here, I started drinking way more. Like I started drinking again.
Yeah.
But then once I moved to San Francisco, I started drinking way more.
Because you learned drinking though. I feel like you were actually drinking different stuff, obviously, right? So yeah. Same thing for me though. I hated red wine in college. What got me into wine was the white wines first, and then rosés, and then eventually I started hating them because it got too sweet for my taste. And then took like wine class, and then started learning a little bit more about red wine and stuff like that. So that took a while to kind of get acquired, and then started going to Napa with Robert a little bit more. So
that's the thing, right? Like alcohol, like you have to acquire the taste. It's not just something that you just like.
I hate whiskey, by the way. I still hate whiskey, but I love single malt Japanese whiskey, and I love bourbon. I hate whiskey though, in general.
Wow, interesting. I don't drink beer at all. Like
I love beer.
I just feel like you have to drink so much beer to like it that if I didn't drink it in college, I might as well not drink it now.
I love Hefeweizers. I think going to Munich changed my life. I did a beer tour there. I was like, wow, Hefeweizers. There's so many ways different making it. They're all different tastes, and it was so tasty. It was just yummy. It's a different story though. Like
I've never had a beer that I thought like. I don't like hops. Like I don't like the taste of hops. Right?
Oh, that's probably why. Yeah, that makes sense.
I haven't had a beer that I didn't think was bitter, and I don't want to put myself through why am I putting myself through the misery just to like an alcoholic beverage? I'm just not gonna do it anymore.
So let me ask you this, Jason. Growing up in Toronto, right, and obviously parents being Japanese, so my parents is very anti-drinking. Are your parents like that or no?
Oh, yeah, they were quite anti-drinking, or like my parents are lightweights in general, and
okay. You turn red by any chance? Do you turn red?
I think I turned decently red. Yeah, not like super red, but definitely got a bit.
So for me, it varies on alcohol type.
Oh yeah, I think it sort of does. Yeah, like beer would do it more, I think, than hard liquor. Yeah, they were quite anti-drinking my whole life, and it wasn't until later on, like when I became the legal age to drink, that I think as a family they started to drink a bit more, just like like a little wine with dinner sort of.
Did you?
Okay. Wait, so you turned 19.
Did you push them into this? Like is that what it is?
I honestly, maybe I sort of did, because like I was like 16 in that age where you're like, you start to get, oh, like this is cool, this is what the cool people do. It's so cool. And I was like, Mom, like how come you don't ever, I don't know, like buy me alcohol or drink or something? And they're like, oh, because it's bad. And like that was that. And then like it sort of flipped where like after I got through that phase, and like even today, like these days I rarely drink. I only drink if it's with other people.
So socially, pretty much.
Socially, and like going out.
Yeah.
I would never just sit here and drink alone. But that being said, like,
hey, no, I am exclusively drink with other people. All right, I exclusively drink with other people. It's just that I see people all the time, right? So
okay.
that's why there's so much drinking.
Okay.
But it's not that like also in college, I like after I turned 21, or after I started drinking again after college, I was like, I have to stop drinking alone. Like I started drinking again, and then I started playing video games and drinking and like doing way too much of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta stop drinking alone. I'm gonna turn into some alcoholic. So now, so then I made a rule where I only drink when other people are also drinking.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That makes sense though.
So Mike's drinking Kahlua tonight, so I can drink.
Right? What about the other 1,000 times I just drink tea? You drink rosé.
I know. I don't know what this podcast made. Like, I think this podcast, I just drink on this podcast. Even this podcast, I assume somebody's gonna be drinking, but like nobody.
It's a good assumption though.
Then we have all these. We have guests like Jason here is drinking almond milk. And making me look bad.
All right, so Jason, obviously the drinking, so drinking is not frowned upon in Japan, which is great. I feel like
it's not. Yeah,
Japanese people do party a lot. Let me tell you, I've gone to some of the karaoke rooms. I mean, are those open right now? Just wondering.
Oh, they're open. Yeah, till 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Everything's open, man.
I used to go there at 11 p.m. and stay there for a night till like 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, that used to be normal. Yeah.
I think that's the only time you go to karaoke is like when it's super late.
Well, the train ends at midnight, right? Isn't it? Back in the day.
Yeah, it's quite early. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're stuck there partying, or you wait out at the karaoke room and party.
When does it start up again?
5 a.m. Right?
5. Yeah, maybe 5.
Wait, so you karaoke from midnight to 5 a.m.?
We took naps.
People do. Yeah.
Oh, you took naps
the karaoke room.
In the room. You take naps when other people are singing.
It happens.
People do that. Yeah, that's quite commonplace to sleep.
Yeah.
Wow. How can you sleep when there's so many people like singing poorly?
They could be passed out as well. Trust me, we started singing because they can feed you and can give you more drinks as well.
Yeah.
And so you can just drink to pass it out, whatever. It happens, man. So
yeah.
Wow. That's fun.
No, but now Japan though, I personally though, obviously I didn't live there, but just from visiting a few times, I love the respectfulness though. I don't think I've encountered a rude person there yet. I'm not sure have you? I'm just wondering. If it's rude, can you describe how rude it is?
Oh,
not
man.
Well, like I don't know, like how are we describing someone rude? Like
where you can tell they were just being rude. You know what I mean? Like very obviously. Like let's say that for example,
Anyone walk up to you and punch you in the face?
No, not that kind of rude. That's just being assholeish.
I don't know, being rude.
I mean, not really, but like that being said, I mean, when I talk to people here, I actually like try to make it very, very obvious that I don't speak Japanese, for example, whenever I can, because there's like the way that you're rude in Japanese is very different in that, like, I don't know if you've ever heard that Japanese doesn't have swear words per se.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's no like F word. There's no like.
So they can't just curse at you.
No, they can't actually. They can't.
Wow. They probably have
obviously
some
there are like bad words and there are rude words, but like the way that the language and the grammar works is that
they can't say like you asshole mother, whatever.
Yeah, no, they'll end up calling you like a horse cat or something, right?
I don't know if it's like that, but but like in the
dog
language,
shit, you know,
dog shit. I guess so, yeah. But like in the language, there's like different levels of politeness that you can use.
Oh, okay. So you can tell by the root of the tone, I guess.
Yeah, and you're always supposed to know as a Japanese person which politeness level do I talk to?
Yeah, formality levels.
Yeah. And so I think the way that like a lot of Japanese people might be rude to someone would be to use the incorrect one on purpose, sort of thing. And there's obviously there's no English equivalent to it, but it's like talking down to someone or
Got it. So it's different type of rudeness, not like very blunt in a sense, but it's just
it's a lot more subtle. Yeah,
subtle. I see what you're saying.
I obviously I cannot speak on behalf of people here, as
of
I'm
course.
not like Japanese born or raised or anything. But I do think maybe from the outside and from my perspective too, Japanese society comes off as very, like respectful and tame.
From the outsider,
And
yes.
yeah, and I'm sure like relative to like the average day in American society, it is.
Yep.
But I do think after being here and especially working here in Japan, when you see Japanese people work with each other, there is a lot of like subtle power moves people make on each other.
Oh,
Oh
really? So
wow,
you can
really?
tell.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So wait, let me ask you this though. I know that I mean I heard a lot of crazy story how Japanese people work crazy hours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like and like have you seen like you had to compete with that kind of level of craziness? Just wondering, like that kind of level of effort.
Myself personally,
Yeah.
like no, I haven't actually, and that was sort of on purpose. I
Okay.
would never work at a company that forces me to do that.
Got
And
it.
Mike,
And it forces
thing-
the
Mike,
culture.
there's
Yeah.
a reason we hired Jason, and it was because we wanted him to work as hard as he could. And you're bringing this up. It's a very touchy subject.
And you tell
Well-
me that's a consultant, I don't work. I'm just kidding.
Well, like okay, so the thing
Yeah.
the thing is behind that though is that they're working long hours, right? But they're
Yeah,
doing
correct.
nothing. They're not
Yeah.
working. They're just
Oh, got it. So
putting
how
in the
productive you are.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
He's just
they're
putting
not being
FaceTime in.
Yes, that's all it is. And like you will realize that like Japan's a very big like appearance matters
for
society.
face. I know it's
Yeah.
the Asian culture thing though in general.
I think it's
believe.
Asian culture. I went to
It's Asian
Singapore to
culture.
work, to like work for 3 weeks, and it was very similar. Where like I would like leave. I worked my 8 hours, and I was like, all right, I'm going home. But everybody stayed. Everyone was there before me, and I was
So
like,
they didn't go happy hour you at all? Were you
not
crushed?
until my last day. Like it was like
Damn!
it was like my last day, and I was like, hey, like I've been there for 3 weeks, and I was like, hey guys, let's go out, and they're like, all right. But then before that, they were all just like all work, and like they had to put in their FaceTime.
So what time did they get out of work?
Oh, I don't know. I left.
So
I was like,
they showed.
all right, guys, I'm leaving. I'm going back to the hotel.
So wait, they showed up before you and they left after you. They're
Yeah,
like,
they
"Damn,
showed
those
up before
American."
and left
It's like
after.
those Americans don't work.
It's a lazy American man.
I know.
Maybe, but like,
Let him come.
but like for me, it was like I got everything done that I needed to. I don't need to be here anymore. That was that was how I thought.
I mean, in consulting, we had to show face too, in a sense. Like, if our client's still
Yeah.
there, we got to be there still, and that's a rule of thumb for us, though, right?
Mm.
But I
Yeah.
got to a point that I just didn't care. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not staying here till 8 o'clock every night." My client would stay there 8 o'clock every night, Monday to Friday. I was like, "Nope, I'm not staying here every night 8 o'clock. I gotta go work out. I gotta do my other stuff." I'm like, I don't care if it's my client.
Yeah.
So my manager one time, my old company called me up saying, "Hey, why are you leaving so early?" I'm like, "I'm done." I mean, I'm done for the day. My task is done for tomorrow as well. So I'm just gonna see ya. So no, you gotta stay. You know, everybody we do the team stuff like that. We'll bring you dinner soon. I'm like, nope, I gotta work outside.
Also, we were paid hourly, so I'm like, I'm gonna go home at my 8 hours.
Oh, you were paid.
Otherwise,
Oh, you were paid
otherwise you're
hourly.
gonna pay me overtime. Do you really?
Oh,
wanna pay
that's
me
different
overtime?
though. Hourly's different
Oh.
though. Got it.
Yeah. I
So
think
wait,
some
what-
people, just like want to work overtime here and they just stay at the office. for
Wait,
that.
yeah. So wait, hang on. Let me ask you this, Robert and Jason. For you guys though, those people work hourly too though?
In our company?
Yeah.
No.
Right now,
At least not here.
Our company.
How about that? How about you? Your parent experience, Robert? Did they get? Did
I
they get
want to
work
say they
hourly?
were hourly, but they didn't mark their hours.
Oh, so they were ghosting
Mm.
hours.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
how it was. Just because like they were always there, like they were always there before me. They were always there after me.
Oh.
But
got it.
then their like payroll was never crazy. So
Yeah.
I marked every hour. So like I got crazy like overtime if I work too long. So then they're like, yeah, we got stop.
Yeah. So for me, it's about working efficiently. I just
Yeah.
want to get my work done. That's all it comes down to,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, that's great. So I guess Japanese is obviously. I mean, so for them, it's about FaceTime. So how are you guys doing that right now? I guess online, remotely. Are you going to the office right now? Sorry, I forgot to ask you that.
Oh no, it's 100% remote. Though I think a lot of maybe the more traditional Japanese companies are probably it's business as usual. They're all going in.
Got it.
Well, like me and my manager is out there in the States, so
Got it.
obviously we don't have much overlap. So it's just a system of trust. That,
Definitely
like,
definitely not
Got
enough FaceTime. Jason's not putting it in. He should be working U.S. hours and Japan hours. Otherwise, he doesn't have enough face time.
Who knows what he's doing?
So Jason, hang on. Did you get hired for a Canada base and they just transfer you to the Tokyo office, or do you ask for the transfer to Tokyo office?
No, I was hired here.
You were hired for there, and they
yeah.
okay.
I was here. I applied, and everything was here. That's all.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you apply did you go to Japan without a job?
Oh yeah, I just came here.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Wait, you came? How long ago did you go to Japan?
I went to a language school for 1 year. That was sort of to like get caught up on that
Japanese
side of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
So you've been there for a while now. You've been there you've been to Tokyo for how long now exactly though?
Oh, almost 3 years.
Oh, okay, got it. Sorry, when you say you were working for your current job a month in, I thought you literally moved in a month in.
Oh,
but
no.
you've been there for a while. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm a
Got
month into
it.
this job, which is in my almost third year of being in Tokyo.
No,
Got
but,
it.
So
Okay.
you can move to Japan and not have a job
Work?
and just
Well,
be
like-
able, how do you do that?
Has a
I am free to
passport?
do that because I have the passport.
Yeah, here's the passport.
which is why it's not exactly a fair scenario, like I was saying. Like there's a lot of people who might want to move here, but you need a
Yeah.
job. But a lot of the companies are like, we're not going to consider you for a job unless you live here already because we don't want to sponsor the visa
Yeah.
and all that paperwork. So yeah, it's a lot easier to just obviously come as a citizen.
Yeah, I
So-
guess it's
so-
just brave just not having a job. Like when I moved to San Francisco, I had
So
a
wait,
job.
hang on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though. How do you what made you trigger to go to Tokyo then? Because it obviously wasn't because of work. So
Oh no, not work.
so a little background story, just wondering. Yeah.
I guess like so one, there's just this like curiosity factor that it's a place I used to come as a kid.
Okay.
And my parents, my dad is from Japan and my mom's Japanese in background.
Yep.
And it was just a place I always told myself as a kid I want to try living in when I grow up. And so I had the opportunity to make that happen after I graduated from school and everything. And so I just did. And then the second reason, which wasn't very on my top of mind when I left, but like
Okay.
looking back, it's partially a reason why I don't want to go back actually to Canada, especially right now.
Gotcha.
Well, okay, one, it's cold, but secondly, um
Hey, isn't Japan
secondly,
cold too?
It is pretty cold there. It's like New
Yeah.
York latitude, isn't it?
Isn't it cold?
it's Washington DC.
Oh, Washington DC. Washington
Yeah,
DC.
it's about
That's
the
still pretty
same
cold.
climate as Washington. Oh, for me
Yeah.
it's
not
tropical.
as cold as It's not as
Whoa,
cold
whoa,
as
yeah.
Canada.
So Japan gets 4 seasons, which is great. I
Yeah,
do
there are
love
4
about that.
seasons.
Yeah.
But the second reason is just like in general, it's in my opinion, it's hard for a lot of people to get ahead in Canada, in a sense. And
I feel like it's hard in Japan. What are you talking about? Everyone's working harder than you.
I feel like it's very hard to in Japan as well, to be honest. But
Yeah.
like by blessing of luck and some skill and whatnot,
Yeah.
like I very much don't live like an average person in Japan. You know, like
Meaning, can you literally, what do you mean by that?
like an average Japanese person who is working at the Japanese companies and they're putting in, you know, those 60 plus hour weeks.
Yep.
And they're getting paid almost nothing. And they need to talk like very formally with their bosses and put in all that FaceTime, and
Yep.
they get abused by their bosses and they have to bow a lot and whatnot. Like I don't have to put up with any of that.
Yeah.
And I sort of knew that was an option for me here before coming, because I just like sort of like looked up the job market. And obviously like not speaking Japanese growing up means that I'm not going to work in a Japanese environment, or at least not effectively.
Of course.
And I knew that like luckily there are a lot of American companies who open up offices in Japan because it's a major market.
Yep.
And especially for the technical roles. So I guess like I studied something technical.
So what's your background? Sorry, you never told us.
Okay. Oh, my background is that I'm an engineer from Canada.
So electrical, mechanical, what are you?
So it's related to mechanical. It's a program called Systems, and it related to
Okay,
a lot of
system engineer. Okay.
yeah, systems engineering. And I knew, so basically before coming here, I knew that there's a demand for technically backgrounded people who speak English at American companies in Japan. And that was sort of like my target job that I wanted to find before
So let
coming
me ask
here.
you this: do those companies sponsor people?
They do sponsor people all the time. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so not your typical traditional Japanese companies, which they try not to focus on that. So, but then I guess the foreign companies that are in Japan, they do tend to sponsor people. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, they'll sponsor people. But of course, like it's very convenient to not need a visa sponsorship. It takes months to do.
Okay,
It costs them money. It's paperwork.
of course.
So if they ever had two candidates, one who they did need to sponsor and one who they did, they'll pick the one who they don't.
Obviously, yeah, same skill set, everything type of deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is this something like if a Japanese person wanted to, they could look for these roles as well?
For sure, yeah.
As long as they qualify for them, right?
But why
yeah.
wouldn't they, or do they just not know that
Enough
it's
English,
that
probably,
it's an option, or like it's that, or like that it's a better scenario? Like, do they just not know, or is it more that like?
I think there's two reasons. One is that the average Japanese person who would be working at one of the Japanese companies is very risk averse, and having a job at Toyota or having a job at Sony,
it's so much safer.
You have 100% job security. You will not get fired no matter how badly you perform. Like you need to do something illegal.
Is it really that secure? I know it was secure, very secure. I didn't know it was that secure though.
Okay, like it's very, very secure. Like you really, really, really need to underperform for a long period of time or screw up to get fired at a Japanese company.
That's what I heard.
Way the system is set up. It's the time you put in, you get rewarded for. And the second reason is the English, because, for example, in my job, the majority of interfacing is with people in the US. US, yeah. And if that's like a large part of your job, they're going to pick the person who speaks English
better,
in all cases.
Yeah,
it's truly an unfair world, to be honest, an unfair system this is.
But you found the little loophole though, so
there's a loophole, and like I'm
found the cheat code.
Yeah, it's seriously, it's a cheat code. I'm like, but they need someone like me. There's a need. I'm gonna go fulfill that need because that's what the market demands. But the fact that, like someone can move here and not speak the language like fluently
and take their job, I guess.
Yeah, and they can get a job that's better than 99% of the domestic people's jobs.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
It's really unfair in many sense.
So let me ask you this though: do you teach English on the side as a part-time job? Is wondering, because I know there's a lot. They love American teaching English there. That's what I heard. I'm not even kidding.
He's Canadian, so
yeah, they heard I'm Canadian. They said no thanks.
Fine. They love anyone who speaks perfect English there.
The Westerners.
The Westerners, yeah.
They do. I actually had thought my first way to go to Japan might be to teach English, because that's the way a lot of people come to the country. That's probably where like half or more than half of the visa sponsorships go to, are English teachers.
Yep.
But like the honest truth is that it's a crappy job.
It is. I heard. Yeah.
Teachers listening to this, like.
I'm gonna go there to teach Spanish, Robert. Okay?
Is that a need? Do people really want to learn Spanish in Japan?
I don't know.
Like 5 people.
It might be 5 people. It might be the rich 5 people. So like,
it's fine.
That's true. They might pay a lot.
Good, right?
Yeah, I might find a niche market. Rich people paying for Asian guys,
Asian Spanish speakers.
There we go.
You know what's funny is like in America, they're like, oh, these Mexicans are coming and taking our low-paying jobs. And over there, they're like, oh, these Westerners are coming over taking our high-paying job.
That's what it is. That's what the irony had that.
Yeah. Partially, yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Like, I guess that loophole, though, I feel like, I'm sure now with social media and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure they're aware about that. They have to know.
A Japanese person?
Yeah. They have to know.
Well, like, personally, I'm not really sure. And don't forget, like, people like myself in this scenario are a very, 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 very small percent of the population here. Like, how many technical roles are there across the American tech companies? There's probably like less than 100 people in Tokyo taking these roles. That being said, they do need people every now and then.
Less than 100. I think
It's
low.
like it's a small number. It's a very small number at the end of the day. And
Well,
a lot of
he's right though, because Robert, think about this, right? Like how many foreign companies are American companies are there, right, in the first place, and then how big the offices are, and how many roles technically there are. I mean,
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
Fortune 500s would probably have something.
Okay,
perhaps, yeah.
but like so the established companies, like the big Fortune 500 companies,
Yep.
a lot of them have been here in Japan since the 70s, sort of
Oh,
thing,
so
right?
then they have
70s?
Japanese.
They have very established Japanese operations. So
like
like
it
I'm
says, the
talking,
roots Japanese. Like
yeah. So like the
Okay.
big four here, the big four are very big and well established.
that would cream me there. That would destroy me there. The big four there.
They
Let me tell
just
you.
grind you
They
up.
will grind me up. They will outwork me there. I'm like, cool, go for it,
Yeah.
buddy. Go for it.
Yeah.
Mike doesn't put in
Yeah.
the FaceTime. That's what it is.
I'm not even turn on my webcam for work. What are you talking about?
There's no FaceTime at all.
No, seriously. My current okay. I'm gonna say this because I'm rolling out this current client, but I turned my camera on once this whole time with my client. One time.
Wow.
I don't think
No, I heard.
I think
Yeah.
I've turned off my camera maybe a handful of times.
Yeah.
I did it at Go Live. That's about it. One time. That's it. Done.
Oh, it's like, that's what he looks like.
Yeah. Man, Michael Wong. That's what he looks like.
and I never met him in person before. So
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
it's
These days.
crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, like I guess I'm really just talking about like the tech companies which have come up in the past 10, 15 years. That's
So they're younger,
Newer,
obviously.
younger tech company.
yeah, even like Microsoft, for example, is considered a tech company, right? But they were here since the 90s, and Japan is a huge market for Microsoft. So they're very well established, and I don't think many of these roles exist here in Japan. You have to pick the newer companies.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Which makes
makes
sense
sense.
though. So let me ask you this, Jason. So one of the things that obviously when I moved to the States, right? For me, the culture was challenging because I came from a Hispanic country, growing in an Asian household. Yeah. So growing in an Asian household. And so coming to America for me, it was like, what the hell is going on? So, and then not only that, I did know a little bit of English, but not it's enough to converse a little bit. But obviously as I got, more confident 3 years in, I got better at it. So obviously for you now, this is year 3 probably, right? So have you encountered like some of the culture challenges that I probably faced myself, or you probably knew the culture really well because of your household, like, or you know what I mean? Just wondering.
Yeah. Can I ask where you born or grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in Venezuela, and so yeah. So I came to the States at the age of 12. So 11 and a half to be exactly. Yeah.
You can tell because Mike speaks as fast as he speaks Spanish. Like he speaks English as fast as he speaks Spanish. So it's just like super quick. That's just how Mike is. So you can tell that's where he grew up, is because like, oh, everything's so quick.
Every Venezuelan speaks really fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were a Spanish speaking Asian kid who was growing up in Florida.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh.
And I went to like a white Jewish school.
Oh.
In Florida, you went to white Jewish school?
Most people there were white and Jewish, yes.
You're in Miami. I would think that like all the Cubans are there, so you would be going.
No, my parents purposely put me into school because of the AP program there, and so I got
white people here. Put my kid in there. That sounds right.
No. But it's not even that. So they put me in the ESOL program so I can get in easily.
I see.
So ESOL is a secondary language program.
Yeah. And at a school with all white people, there's probably no ESOL people. That's what it is. Okay, it makes sense.
That's a loophole, 15 years ago.
I like the system. Like you're working the system. I like it.
Anyway, so going back to you,
the question was, it was
challenges. Any cultural challenges?
Challenges, yeah. Well, nothing too major, to be honest. Like, I think growing up in a household where my parents are Japanese, even though like cultures change over time, and so even like the Japan that my parents know, or like my parents' families have sort of taken with them, is probably a bit different than the culture here today, to be honest. But that being said, like we grew up in a very, or like not very, but like in a pretty Japanese household overall, and just like the way my parents talk and the way that my family talks and communicates, I would say actually leans more towards the Japanese
And the
side
Western side.
than
Right.
the Western side. Yeah,
Got it.
um like I listened to some of my like Western friends and how they talk to their parents, and they sound like
Yeah.
friends, and that's not the way I talk to my
Oh,
parents.
really?
No,
It's still
not
strict. It's still very strict. Like order in the
not that
house.
not that they're like strict, but like there's like a respect.
Got it.
Like as a parent, it's my role to like respect
Of
my
course.
parents,
Yeah.
and it's like their role to in turn
So let me ask you this though.
raise me well.
Let me ask you this: your other Western friend, were they Asian too, or they were Canadians?
A big mix, but a
Okay.
large portion were probably Hong Kong Canadians.
Okay, so
And
they were
so they're
foreign.
Asian.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they were
yeah.
first second generation.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got
And
it.
so they would be more like me. So I'm talking about like the Canadians, like the white people and
Got it.
whatnot, who would
That's
sound a bit different.
interesting.
That is
Yeah,
interesting
and
because I
so
don't know many Asian Americans, first gen, second gen Americans who would be like, my my parents are my friends. I'm gonna talk to them like white people talk to their parents.
yeah. So my friends too. I think the majority, like the
Yeah,
Asian ones, are also like me, where
Yeah.
your parents are not your friends, sort of
yeah.
thing.
So
Yeah.
it started like that for me, and then I end up softening my parents up a lot, especially in high school. So like, obviously for them, like we argue a lot in high school, like tons, like because we were headbutting type of deal in a sense, and obviously being a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, but part of it because I was learning a lot on more about the Western culture in a sense. So I was comparing. I was like, well, that mom's not like that at all, you
Yeah.
know. So Tim's mom like that. Why are you saying this? He's like, well, go live in Tim's mom, you know.
Yeah. That's my parents did that one time, and I was like, all right, I don't want to live with them, so I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna be
You know?
respectful.
Yeah. So oh no, I walked away. I literally walked out. So
Wow.
So yeah, I walk across the street. That's where they live. So I just sit there and like, hey, and my parents like, okay, wow, he's actually running away. So they
Oh,
approached.
wow.
So my parents softened it a little bit throughout the time. So they, they were not against your typical Asian parents, like okay, the hard cold turkey love type of deal. They
Mm,
eventually softened up a little bit, and then they were a little bit more communicative in a sense.
mm.
So,
That's
but yeah,
Like,
that's weird to me. That just sounds so weird.
it's
I
very
think,
rare.
I think
It is rare.
I think like my mom is like, I'm as close to a friend with my mom as I think I could ever be with a parent, right? Like I don't think
sort of thing. Yeah.
I don't
But were you
think
like that? Wait, hang on. Were you like that in high school and middle school though?
no. It like
Yeah,
this,
my
and
point
this was
exactly.
very much like now after
Yeah.
I'm like gone on
Away.
and like I've worked and I'm like successful and
Yeah,
all this
of
stuff, right?
course.
Like I feel like I know enough about the world where she doesn't have to like tell me, like she's not teaching me all the time, right? So it's a different balance. But
Got it.
I don't but there's still a lot of like respect there where like
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's very much a barrier there that I don't think will ever go away.
No, of course, I still respect my parents because especially like what they've done in a sense, right? So I'm not, but I'm saying just in general, like they've definitely gotten softer as as I was going through towards the end of my high school, college, because they know that okay, I'm moving away regardless of college, things like that. So they're like they'd rather not battle headbutt me against, and so I took the heat for my sister. My sister had it easy, both of my sisters. So
Would they say
the
that?
oldest,
Wait, would they say that?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, my sister was super spoiled, the little one, for sure.
I mean,
Like
the little
100%.
ones are always spoiled, but
Yeah.
like the other ones, they probably are like, no, he didn't.
Because they looked at oh shit, Michael's doing this. I should not do this at all. so I took the first lesson.
They learned from you. That's okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But anyway, for Jason, for you though, like you have a sibling. Just wondering, are you the only child?
I have an older brother, so I am the spoiled younger sibling.
So
Got
you're
it.
the
I'm
spoiled
sure you
one.
learned a lot from your brother
Again.
though.
In some ways, yeah. Like he would probably get the majority of getting yelled at, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, okay, like I learned, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was the older, like my brother. I have a half brother who's older, but he wasn't with us. Like he lived in Vietnam for a long time before he came over, and I was mainly the older child,
Yep.
for my parents, right? And I was always like the good kid, Like I was always the good one. I listened. I did everything that was needed. But then my sister, like she was babied, and then my brother came and he didn't do all that stuff. And he was the one that got in a lot of trouble because he didn't live with us his whole life, right? So I was very respectful. My brother was like, "No, I just met you, or like I've just been hanging out with you for a couple of years. Like you're not like there's not a strong connection there." And then that would butt heads and like all this stuff would happen. Right?
Gotcha. So I mean,
Weird.
I don't know. I just it obviously growing up, so growing up to two different countries. Like so for me, growing up in Venezuela, my parents a little bit were working a little bit more, so they were more strict about with my time, things like that. So hey, when I'm with you, we gotta do this type of deal. And then coming to America in a sense, like as I obviously being a teenager in the sense that they were trying to be a little bit more controlled because this is their time, this space in a sense, and they were trying to mimic the same exact situation that they did in Venezuela, and try to raise me in a similar way. But obviously, that didn't like that. Just as I grew older, it's just teenagers, So I learned because I saw other people rebel. I guess I started rebelling. Trust me, if you see other kids rebelling, you're gonna follow.
Yeah, you're gonna follow. You want to rebel too.
I've done it. I've done it one time.
Yeah.
And never again. Like I got killed. So I was like, never again. Like
I got cut off. My allowance was cut off. Okay.
That's all that happened. No, I got spanked. Like I got.
No.
They're like, oh, you're gonna die now. Like we're gonna kill you because
I got spanked.
Yeah, it was like a no. If you want to be like the white people, like we're gonna kill you. Like the white parents don't kill their kids. Right?
No. I got spanked. My allowance were cut off, and so I got smart. I started hiding all the different weapons, and then
weapons.
Where'd this come from?
I was kidding.
What kind
of
you
know what I'm talking about, like belts and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
you hid their weapons.
Their weapons, yeah.
Their weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I started hiding. I got smart where I was like putting like all baby oil on me to try to smack me, to slip through my skin. I did some crazy stuff.
Oh my god!
What?
And then, all kinds of. I just sat there and like took it. Like I was like, no, like.
Oh, I did. I did
bad,
all the crazy stuff.
So I take the beating. Like that's what.
And so once it cut off my allowance, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start making my own money. So I started selling candies, CDs, whatever it took to make money. And then like, oh, you don't need money? Fine. I mean, it was $2 per day. It wasn't that much back in the day. I was making that. I was making $20 every 2 hours and selling candy in the mornings.
Yeah, that's selling candy. That worked every time. I don't know if kids still do that these days, but like I did that same thing. I did the same thing where I sold candy.
I remember getting my first Game Boy because of that. So
wow,
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't. I mean, so. I know we're a little bit off track though, but so before we, let's branch up to the extra MHG session. We'll go back to talk about, migration to Japan and how people perceive us. But the extra MHG session, something funny. You want to share a story or a meme or a video? Yeah, Robert, you want to start first?
I'll start first since Jason looks like he's struggling.
Thank you, Robert.
So with all of the stuff that's going on, so like I think we talked about this earlier about Austin and having all of their snow and stuff. I saw this and I thought it was hilarious. I sent you guys a
link. I see that now. Okay.
Right? And so I'm gonna show it to everyone. And it says, "We woke up and it's almost a foot of sunshine in California this morning." And then they have like a ruler and they're measuring the sunshine on the ruler.
That is so good. And there's a comment. This comment says, "Go fuck yourself, the Midwest."
Oh my!
Go fuck yourself from the Midwest.
And then if you look at the thread of that, there's 1.9K upload for that comment.
Oh my
and
God.
So many people agree to that comment.
I just thought this was hilarious. I was like, oh man, everyone's like losing their electricity, all that stuff. And then over here in California, we're just like, you know what? God. We have too much sunshine. That's the problem over here.
Is this related to how like a lot of people from California are apparently like moving to Texas and other places?
Yeah. So a lot of people moved to Texas, and then this happened. I think this is the first. Is one of the. I don't think this happens often in Austin or like in Texas.
No, probably not.
So like this happens like immediately afterwards, and like now everyone's like, this is a bad mistake. I was also thinking of moving to Austin, so I'm like,
really?
Thank God I stayed here because I didn't lose electricity. I'm still living my same life. I don't have to worry.
Yeah, that's the whole situation in Texas is kind of weird because I'm not sure you're aware of that about that. So just a brief background.
A little bit, yeah.
So obviously the grids outdated and not to
Yep.
federal standards, and then the different type of not that diverse energy sources and stuff. And so it's been crazy to say.
Wait, so like the Texas governor or whatever, or like the Austin governor said like, oh, this is because we don't have fossil fuel, like enough fossil fuels, or
He blamed it on wind.
No, he blamed it on wind when like 90% of their electricity comes from fossil fuel.
Yeah, I know that, and there's only 2% comes from wind.
Yeah, so like, how is this causing all of this?
The world leading company, the world leading country who has renewable energy is only 12% of the whole. So it's not even that much.
Yeah. So how can you blame it on that when this is like your whole city is out of electricity?
Yeah, but anyway, okay. So my thing is kind of funny. It's also winter related. So this is in Amsterdam, and this guy's just the river that goes through Amsterdam is frozen because it's one of the coldest winter.
This year, right?
This year, yeah.
Yeah, I heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy was just skating around, and then just plops and drops into the water.
All right, let me show
He
this.
fell through.
That looks cold, and he's butt naked.
Oh God.
Let me see. All right, let me show this video. He's skating. Yeah. Oh, he's only in like a little Speedo.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's dangerous.
But he's just no. But look how long he stays in the water though afterward.
Is this in Amsterdam?
Yeah, that river. Remember that river that goes through the?
Yeah. I was gonna be like, oh, this must be Canada with Jason in.
Oh, I never done that.
Bro,
he stays in the water for a while.
Yes,
that's dangerous. He could freeze to death.
He looks like he's trained for it. I don't know.
He doesn't even seem like anything's wrong. He's just
he's calm, swimming, chilling in the water a little bit.
He's like,
he's totally trained for that.
Now. Oh.
I've been watching these like survival videos, right? And this one guy is like, he goes out. He's in Canada. He's a Canadian. Yeah. He goes out and like digs like holes to like go fishing in like the ice. He's like, yeah, you don't want to. And I think he went on with another person, and that guy had fallen in ice. But it was like I think he said it was like 10 inches of ice, and it broke.
Oh, and it shouldn't break then.
Yeah, it shouldn't break, right? So then, like, it was on the news. It was a big thing. But then, yeah, the guy, like, they were the whole time they're like, oh yeah, you need to make sure that your ice is like very thick and like you be safe out there. But this looks very thin, like this ice here.
Oh yeah, this guy was just asking for it. Yeah,
this ice looks so thin.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Like,
and he bows at the end. Like he's bowing to the crowd.
No, this guy literally has it in control. Looks like he was trained the water. To be honest with you, like he did not freak out.
Yeah.
That's so cold though. Imagine that water being that cold. I remember seeing Karen show me a video of people just doing the polar dive in Chicago during the middle of winter. They go to the Lake Michigan. Is it Lake Michigan? I forgot. Or it's one of those lakes. Anyway, where the lake is in Chicago. Literally, you just run into the lake and plunge into the lake and come back.
I mean, here in San Francisco, they do the Alcatraz like triathlon.
Oh yeah, the swim. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and they go run and they go and swim all the way to.
But
Alcatraz
that water's not that cold compared to like in the Chicago.
I guess that's true.
I
guess that's true, but it's still cold. Though. It's not Florida water, which Florida water is so warm. You jump in the water, you're like nice. It's over here, the water is just cold. Like it's ridiculously cold.
Yeah. All right, so Jason, let me ask you this: do you have a funny story, or do you have?
Shit. I don't know. I don't have anything like funny like story or something that happened to me, but I think like I was just like laughing to myself after hearing the GameStop hearing that happened this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I forget.
I heard it. I got this short clip notes of the hearing, and I'm like, this is the question they asked them. I'm like,
the questions were just
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little softball.
All right, so go ahead. Sorry, I need to interrupt.
I really liked well, I don't know his real name, but the Roaring Kitty guy.
Yeah.
His testimony that he gave, and he just did the whole thing just deadpan, and you could tell he was sort of, I don't know, like trolling, but like like saying the things he needs to say. And he's just like, ma'am, I am not a cat. I am a man. I've been accused of blah, 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 insider trading. And what I did is nothing different than if people talk at bars or on the golf course. It's the same thing. And he's like, I just like the stock. That's all I can say. And I just like lost it. I'm like, this guy is so good. And I think the whole GameStop thing and all this around it is sort of just like symbolic of how a lot of people, especially in like the past year, kind of suspect like something's a bit off, something's wrong with the system.
Yeah,
of course.
And it's just like his way of just saying, like, showing the whole ridiculousness of this situation that we're in. And I just thought
It's
just
true
so
though.
funny.
I do think that this made it a little bit more transparent about it. Just a little bit more transparent.
Yeah, and he did it in such a way that like he didn't like come off as like I'm getting attacked or I'm blaming anyone, but just like, ma'am, I'm not a cat. I just like the stock.
Do you have a video of this? I would like to see this video.
Oh yeah, I'll send. There's like a CNBC one where they took the clip of what he said.
That is hilarious. I gotta find that. That would be so good though.
I sent a video of, I don't know who, I think it might be CNBC, who was trying to, they had a lingo guide of.
Oh yeah.
God, no way.
I sent a picture here.
A screenshot.
Yeah.
Had it all.
Okay,
Diamond
so-
hands,
Diamond
hands.
paper hands,
Hold on.
stonks, hendies, to the moon, J-Pow, and YOLO. Like explaining what these are saying on Wallstreetbets.
J-Pow? Is that a real
J-Pow.
one, J-Pow?
J-Pow is for sure.
Apparently J-Pow was.
Chairman Powell.
Okay. I knew what tendies was. I know what that means. And I actually chicken pot pies, not chicken pot pies. I mean Popeyes, the chicken place, capitalized on that. They gave free chicken tenders if you bought like $1 tender, something like that, something stupid. Like something, seriously, I sent that to all my friends. Like, hey, you guys want chicken tenders? Just buy $2 worth of chicken tenders, and you get free tenders too.
Is it bad that I knew all of these terms?
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too, though.
Okay.
So.
I think any young people do.
It might be a young person thing.
I mean, I followed Wall Street for a while already. So like
I was like a semi follower, right? Like I kind of like went on there every other month or every month what they were talking about, but I wasn't like following them.
Yeah, but you're right, Jason. To your point though, just the irony behind that in a sense.
Yeah,
like things like that. Yeah, that's true though. All right, so hopping back on, I think the second part, I just want to, kind of like pick your brain a little bit more about, I guess, perspective on Americans from a Japanese person and Canadian side things. So yeah. So let's start with the Canadian side.
Let's start with what Americans think of Canadians. Canadians think that Americans think that Canadians are just super nice people. Like they're always just like, if you bump into them, they say I'm sorry, right? They have weird accents with certain words.
Afraid of the dark.
Afraid of the dark. Like that's a big thing. Yep.
Where did that come from? I've never heard that before.
Yep.
Wow, no, they're definitely afraid of the dark. It's like
what?
Who's
not afraid of the dark?
What else is there? Yeah, I don't know. Like I think Americans just be like, yo, we're happy to be American, and that.
Oh, and I'm sure that sentiment is mutual though, probably. Like I'm happy to be Canadian, but not like Americans.
I mean, but if they're as nice as we think they are, they're probably not thinking that, right? Like that's.
Okay.
So, let's start with the Canadian side of things. So you're obviously growing up there, you probably meet some Americans and stuff like that, things like that.
Yeah. So, like as a whole, also I think maybe like America is a very diverse place, right?
Super
depending
diverse,
on where you are in America.
Yeah.
And Canada isn't quite as diverse culturally, but like there is some diversity. There's the French part, there's West Coast, there's Toronto. I grew up in Toronto, and my like honest opinion of people in Toronto, maybe just because it's where I'm from, is that like I've like my whole life I've heard Canadians are super nice, blah blah blah. And yes, people say I'm sorry if you just like bump into someone, but for me that's just like without thinking, it's just something I do
It's a
unconsciously. Yeah. And I know like a lot of Americans don't, but besides that, to be honest, my whole life I've never felt like people in Toronto are particularly friendly or nice at all. I don't know where Americans are getting this.
Wait, hang on. Can you
no,
compare?
so
can you compare that? Compare that to like a level of friendliness. Like, what is? It's like, have you been to America before? Just wondering.
Yeah, a few places. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Can you give me the few places you've been to? Just wondering.
Like New York,
Okay,
Florida.
compare that to New York. More friendly or less friendly?
Oh, more friendly for sure.
Okay, because New York's are rude. People,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So like as a whole, I think Canadians are, I guess, a bit like friendlier and probably a bit more respectful, especially like the West Coast Canadians. Even when I go to Vancouver, I'm like, oh my God, everyone here is so friendly. As someone from like the East Side. But at the same time, and I know you just said like Americans like to think, oh, like thank God we're American and we're not from Canada. I think that's very prevalent in Canada too. That like, thank God we're not Americans. Thank God we live up here.
I'm sure.
Wait, is that like always, or has it just been in like the last 4 years?
4 years. Okay, so going to Europe though, I've seen that for the last 10, 15 years for sure.
From Europeans.
Okay.
Europeans side. Yeah.
Okay.
Going to Europe, I've seen that.
But like from American, I'm like, obviously they think only that last 4 years, right? That's
But I'm sure it's growing up though, right? Obviously when you did the exchange program, like things like that, I just wanted from that experience.
Yeah. Like definitely from the Americans I've talked to, Americans and as a whole, especially like you were saying, like the New York people are for sure like more direct than Canadians. Like they just kind of come off as harsher around the edges. And yeah, just like a bit more like intense people in general, is what I find. But I think like I said, like Canadians often think of themselves, I feel like the Canadian media too is like, thank God we're not American, we have free healthcare, we have all these things.
So more superior in a sense.
In a sense, yeah. Like I do sense that a lot from all the Canadians I talk to. And what I sort of don't really like about the whole thing is that like a lot of people are saying, oh, Americans are so racist, Americans blah blah are like very hateful people or whatnot. But the honest truth is that Canada and other countries just have very different circumstances to the US. Like we don't have a country on our border where people come in or are illegally coming in, for example.
Correct.
Wait,
and
Americans aren't coming.
No. Like Canada doesn't border Mexico, and there's no border issues with Mexico.
That's true, yeah.
For example,
because
right?
Think about it, right? So Canada does have to deal with the situation where third world countries are migrating into the border.
Right.
It's first world countries that are migrating.
It's first world country. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the truth. And I feel like a lot of Canadians like have this superiority complex that like we're better than them because we don't hate immigrants. Well, you don't hate immigrants because all the immigrants coming to this country are like well vetted by the government, and they don't just enter through a border. And I think
it's different. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and people should realize that like at the end of the day, we're all just humans, people, like,
and trying to get a better life.
Better.
Yeah.
And if Canada was in the exact same situation as America, like if you put a Canadian in America and left them there for 10 years, they would just think like every other American, I feel, or like much more like Americans. You're just reacting to your circumstances. And Canada happens to be in a lot more favorable circumstances in many ways.
I can see that.
You think so?
Which makes sense.
You don't think if we flipped America and Mexico, right?
So Mexico's in the middle.
So they're in the middle, and they're coming. They're like migrating it. They're migrating into both, right? You would think that they would have the same mentality.
Yeah. I mean, Canadian immigration is already tight already, by the way. So
yeah, it's quite strict.
It's very strict already. So they'll probably be more strict, to be honest with you, Robert.
Yeah, or like if
a
people
bigger
were, like,
wall. That's what they would do.
I'm not even saying that, but like I think as a whole, I'm just trying to say like my notion that Canadians are superior to Americans, I think, sort of misguided because
which makes sense.
The same circumstances.
Yeah,
I found it funny one time. I think it was the Warriors were playing the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, the Raptors,
finals, right?
Yes,
and
I was there for the Raptors final, one of the games
in Toronto.
In Toronto.
Yeah, so they. So I think one of the like the late night shows. They sent someone there, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to like say, oh, go Raptors, right?" And so they all like all of the fans, like man on the street, all the fans came on, and they're like, "Oh yeah, go Raptors!" And then they're like, "Oh, we don't have time to go to San Francisco and get Golden State fans. Can you guys put these shirts on and say it?" And all of them did it.
No,
And
the
then-
Canadian people.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, as a Golden State fan, say some like bad things about the other team." And they're like, "We can't do that." And then as Toronto
shocked.
fans, they're like, "Say something bad about Golden State." And they're like, "We can't do that. We don't know. Like, they're probably good guys, you know." Like, that's why everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Canadians are too nice to do anything that's like mean spirited towards other people."
That means less bullies, right?
Oh.
Yeah, do you have less bullies?
I don't know. I never lived in the
high
US.
school.
No. Actually,
Canada?
okay. Growing up in high school or middle school, have you encountered bullying? Just wondering. Growing up.
Personally, like, have I been bullied? No, nothing to like an extent I would call bullying. But of course,
okay.
like kids are kids. Kids are shitty
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
There's
No,
lots
I'm
of
just wondering. Like, I
Yeah.
encountered bullying from middle school, elementary school.
Okay.
So yeah. So even in Venezuela, I encountered bullying. Like so.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I encountered bullying in two different countries. Just say about that.
But I didn't feel that when I was growing up. I didn't feel like bullying happened to me. It definitely happened to like my sister and like other
Yeah.
people I know, but like I
Yeah.
didn't feel that. And then Mike's came on and was like, "Yeah, I was definitely bullied."
Yeah,
countries.
I got into
Mm.
fights. I got into fights
Mm.
and so that punch a teacher too, things like that. So it happens.
Mm.
We gotta go into that later.
Oh
like,
my god.
All right.
another day.
So let me ask you this, Jason. Now as you know, being in Japan for 3 years, how did
Yeah.
they perceive Americans? I'm just curious from that.
And
is
Canadians,
it-
like
it-
coming in
it-
as a Canadian.
Yeah, coming as a Canadian.
Mm.
Is that I guess is a little bit different, or
Oh,
is it
like
what you
how do I
expected?
get perceived?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, like as a Canadian, I get perceived as just like a nicer American, to be honest. Just like that's sort of it. Just like you're like America, but you're nicer. But they don't know anything else.
That's
So
what
they
we
don't think
think,
you're
too.
snobby.
Sorry, what?
They don't think you're snobby. Like you're
No.
okay.
No, not particularly. I mean, I think like a lot of countries in the world, regardless of what you're going to see in the media
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis, or regardless of what a lot of people like to say,
Yeah.
and especially the past 4 years, like there have been many opportunities to poke fun at America, I'm sure.
There's
At
a
the end
lot
of the
of memes
day,
out there. There's a lot of memes out there. Let me tell you.
at the end of the day, I think it is undeniable though. And maybe Americans don't realize this living in America, but even
Yeah.
living in Japan, I'm sure living in a lot of European countries and anywhere around the world, that like we ultimately live as of right now, and especially in like a allied country, we live in an American world.
It is
And I think
westernized. It is very westernized.
it's
but
very
with
westernized.
with the
Yeah.
traditional though culture of Japanese there though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So
And I think there is this acknowledgement, like as much as, you know, the media here, just like everywhere else, likes to point
Yeah.
out all the things that are wrong with
yeah, of
America.
course.
And of which there are many. Like Japan, just like many other countries, like Canada too, benefits a ton from being part of like the American sphere of influence. Like America covers a lot of the Japan security budget, and
Yeah.
Japan doesn't need to spend on its military because it allows bases to be here.
That's true. I forget about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say like it's a complicated relationship, of course, and even here in Tokyo, actually, this is something which is very surprising, which isn't really the case in Canada. But the U.S. government actually owns a lot of land here in Tokyo, even for bases and army barracks and stuff like that, which is quite surprising. Like you're just like walking down the street and
Yeah.
there's like a fenced off area, and it says like property of the U.S. military, no trespassing.
Well,
it's like,
I think also America helped rebuild Japanese military. So
Yeah,
that's
in the
that's
whole
something more
country.
here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I honestly would just say like it's a respectful relationship, regardless,
Gotcha.
I think, of what you might see on the news.
Gotcha.
And Japan's been like historically very pro West.
Yeah.
From
Oh, they're
early
further
days.
advanced than us. They're way more further advanced in terms of like listen, let me tell you, like culture wise, they definitely try to push the envelope. Technology wise, they definitely push more, like I mean, think about it, man. Like
Vending
I think
machines, they're definitely
vending
pushing the
machines.
envelope.
But I mean, I obviously being in that mindset, right? Because Japan doesn't have to deal with the diversity as well.
Yep.
I'm just wondering because it only takes one bad apple to ruin for everybody in a sense. Because in America, it's just so diverse. You get your southern folks, you get your northern folks, you know, and you get your middle western folks. Like, I'm just wondering, like, do they perceive all American as a whole as one like that, or like? I don't know. Like, it's just kind of weird, right? The perception of America, because it's like you said, so diverse.
Like, what is the main perception of America?
So I talked to a few folks there locally there, and a lot of think that every American is rich. That's one of the perception.
Oh,
No, seriously. And another perception
Oh,
is that they're fat, they eat a lot, which is true.
Okay.
I'm not,
Very
that's
true.
not,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I noticed the McDonald's soda size there in Japan is different,
It's
by the way.
much smaller.
Their soda size is different.
So much smaller.
Yeah,
They're
it's
large.
more like 2 sizes smaller.
Yes.
Probably.
So their large is like our small.
Yes, almost.
Probably,
like,
yeah,
medium. I
probably.
think it's like medium, to be honest. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, okay.
Because
Oh
we have
my
an extra
God.
large here in America.
You get really small, yeah.
Yeah. And so, and then the Big Mac is it's not a Big Mac in a sense to America Big Mac. Anyway, so just in general, like, you know, those are typical type of thing, right? And also they think we're spoiled. Like, we're entitled to stuff. That's what I got a feel for talking to a lot of local Japanese people there when I travel. So
I mean, we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not spoiled. We just know what we want, and we have to have it right now. That's all. You know. And if we don't, we throw temper tantrums. You know, like that's how it is. Is that spoiled? I don't
temper
think so.
tantrums. Like storm the Capitol. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. One last question, Jason. Okay, so I know we're running out of time, but let me ask you this: so being there 3 years, are you dating anybody? Just wondering.
Oh no, I can go into this. It's been that's been its own like adventure in itself, sort of like finding out, you know, like who will I end up with, sort of thing.
No, but I'm saying, like, have you dated there in Japan for the past 2-3 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, and how about obviously you dated in Canada? So can you compare that a little bit? Just wondering, how is the experience?
I mean, I could try to compare, but at the same time, like the people who I would date here, to be honest, would by my own like requirements or whatever I want to call that, have experience living overseas.
So expats, in a sense.
Expats or English speakers, yeah.
Okay.
And maybe we can go into this for the next session, or if we're going to do the next session. But like, for like my thought process behind it is, like, I don't see myself living here forever, to be honest.
Of course, yeah.
I don't. At the end of the day, I grew up in a country that wasn't Japan. I don't really see myself as like a Japanese person here.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really enjoy living here now while I'm young, but there's going to come a day where maybe I want a family or something, and to move back or to move somewhere else. And as a result of that, like, I also don't want to date or even marry. Let's say if I think that far. Yeah. Sorry, I fell. Someone who speaks, or someone who's like purely 100% Japanese, because the honest truth is that if you don't speak English, you can't leave Japan. You're stuck here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I don't want to like think so short term that like, oh, I want to find someone, I want to get married.
But in a sense, I mean, it happens, right? Like, you meet a girl, whatever it is. Yeah. But how's that experience been? I'm just wondering. Have you dated a true Japanese girl yet, or not yet there? Or
I mean, like, yeah, I suppose like a Japanese girl, yeah. But at the same time, she spent some time abroad and grew up
correct.
abroad.
So she had that experience, the connection with you already.
Yeah. So it's hard to really just say, are they truly Japanese at that point or what? But
gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I guess they need that experience to like be on the same like level, or like understanding, like a level
same
of
page
understanding.
Yeah.
For myself, yeah. For myself, yeah.
Hang on. So now, are they nicer than Canadian girls?
Oh, you're gonna get him in trouble. I like it.
Who's nicer?
It's hard to say, because the communication style is different for one thing.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Sorry, just a little bit elaborate on a little bit more. Sorry.
Yeah, like in Japan, and this isn't so much an issue for me because I think partially just because of my upbringing that like a lot more things go unsaid. They just go in implied from tone or body language, or you just sort of talk around things.
I mean, how does that work with someone low EQ? So I'm just wondering.
Oh, you're going to have a very hard time if you have low EQ if you're not used to it.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost like talking in semicircles, they say. Sort of like being vague. Apparently, like for example, in Japanese, in the language, there's no way to say I like you. Like,
no way. I'm gonna Google this right now. Really? There's no way to say that?
You can you could say something that translates to I like you, but the
it doesn't really
mean
mean the same.
It doesn't mean the same. I see what you're saying.
It means like I love you, like very serious.
There's really no direct I see what you're saying now.
Oh, you Googled it? There's no direct translation.
Or like it's like
wow.
No, it's not equal to like I love you in a sense of like it's very, you're right. That's so crazy.
So yeah, it's you can't just tell someone, hey, I like you, I like where this is going, blah blah blah. Like you gotta, for Japanese people, really
jump in.
You either it's really
when you hold hands?
Apparently, like I'm not Japanese, so like don't take my word on this, but like you have to go all in. You have to go full confession. Like, I love you.
That's interesting.
Please date me.
So like what? So the little Japanese culture that I know is from Terrace House, right?
Okay.
And there's always confessions on there. Like
there's confessions. It's part of the culture.
Like that's part of the is like they don't. I don't know if this is true, but from the TV, the editing, they nothing happens until they confess.
So what is this Terrace House? Sorry, can you?
Terrace House is a it's a Japanese reality TV show where there's
what?
3 girls and 3 guys come and live into a house.
So it's a real world Japan style,
basically, but it's very it's so different than a real world. Right?
Okay, I gotta watch this. Is it less drama or more drama?
It's less American drama, but the drama is there's so little drama that everything that happens is exponentially.
Is it awkward drama?
No, it's not. But it's just like it's so much more respectful. Like
it's like they just like it's like you could see how Japanese people interact with each other socially, where it's like people don't go up to their people's faces and they're like, hey, like screw you for doing this.
Yeah, they don't go and like yell in each other's faces. American American reality TV would be like, oh, why'd you do this? And they would be yelling and screaming. Yeah. And then in this show,
it's like it's like, oh, Katsu wore her shoes inside. Like, you guys see that yesterday? And
like sort of and then they would like,
oh, they're like drama. Hey, you know.
Yeah. And there's like that, and then there'd be like,
so
hey,
gossip style.
You know what? Like, you shouldn't really wear your shoes inside. And then they're like, okay, I won't. And then that's the drama.
Like they all sit down.
They sit down and they talk about it and they explain each other.
Damn, they're that understanding. That's crazy.
It's a whole different culture, but it's amazing.
So for me, I feel like. So do you think? Okay, I think depends on how you grew up though. I think in terms of drama, I guess in terms of like understanding body language, I feel like you gotta have somewhat of high level EQ in order to understand that, because like you said, in Japan, if I want to ask a girl for a phone number, how does that work? Yeah. Like, hey, here's my phone. What do you mean?
Like you can ask.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No, it's just that is, obviously obviously in America you can tell like straightforward, hey, I like you type of sense, right? Like, I don't know, it's just weird, like, because getting a girl's number doesn't mean that I like the girl though in Japan. Like, how does that work? Just wondering.
Is it like every interaction starts as friends, or is it more like?
Yeah,
I think there's a lot more of that where like things are a lot slower per se. Okay. And maybe also in Japan, like this, I cannot be saying this for other people, but like, of course, maybe I feel like it's a bit more serious, the whole dating thing. Like, you date to think about marriage in a sense. I don't know anything about asking people for the phone numbers because I don't do that here. But
yes, just like, hey, can you slide into my DMs? What do you do? Like,
is there Tinder? Is this Tinder or something?
It's just like Tinder or other apps or stuff like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone uses that now. There's no like going out, or is that just like what you've used?
No, before COVID though, like how do you like? Let's say that you're interested in going out on a date with a girl. What did you do?
Yeah. It would usually be like through a mutual connection that I would already have met them, or like meet them at an event or an app. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. That's just not my style, to be honest. It's like go up to someone and be like, "Hey, have your number."
No,
no,
so
no,
like,
bro.
so
I
like,
mean,
like
if
get
you
on my
date-
knees and
no,
if
hang
you-
on.
So
But
like,
even,
okay, go ahead, Mike.
no, sorry. I mean, even though you meet a girl through that friend, right? You still gotta ask the girl for a number or an email or something like that, you know?
Yeah. But like I feel like I'd just be like, "Oh, like, do you want to hang out sometime or like next weekend sort of thing?"
Oh, okay. So casual.
I don't know. Yeah, just casually.
okay,
Like
yeah.
I would always just start casual, to be honest. I wouldn't
Gotcha.
go
On the
that
show,
serious.
every time they ask each other out, they're just asking if they want to go do something. That's every single.
It's a lot more
Event, but it's a group event or an individual
No, it's
event?
like one-on-one.
Oh, okay,
Two
got
people,
it.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense though. All right. No,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, like, I heard the story. Guys are really shy in Japan in general, like obviously, but you're not a typical Japanese guy in a sense. So I heard the dating pool there is crazy. Like, it's like, I think the population is declining because of that. I think, isn't it? Like, there's some crazy like studies on that really in Japan. So
Yeah, the population's declining. A lot of people are unmarried or just not interested in marriage.
not interested. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, as a whole.
I think that's also in America too, though. Like our
Increasingly.
marriage age is getting higher and higher every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get like a Western edge? Like going up to girls, like being like, "Oh,
Yo, I'm from Canada.
I'm a Western guy," you know, like
you some French.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, bonjour.
Yeah, you come over like, "I'm from Canada," and they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's exotic."
Well, they can tell though because the way he dresses. They can tell. Like Japanese people has a specific way they dress. They're stylish.
Oh,
They're
really?
super stylish, you know. So
Am I not stylish?
How do you know he's not super stylish, Mike?
I did not mean to imply that. By the way.
What an assumption.
No. But I'm just saying in general, like they have a certain style of dressing, and you can tell you're foreigner.
I
Like
think most people can, and like for whatever reason, like my face doesn't look 100 like clearly Japanese. It's just like Eurasian sort of thing.
yeah, you're more tan than average Japanese, by the way. So
Yeah, like my family on my mom's side, who I look more like, are from southern Japan, where people tend to be a bit more tanned.
Yeah.
Wait, but what was the question? Like, do I ever
Like,
use?
You get like a Western
card?
bias.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, and like to be honest, in some ways, I get like the worst of both worlds in a sense.
the
Like
worst of both worlds.
I don't want to complain about my circumstances,
course.
because I think I'm very blessed in many ways. But like, I think there are those people in Japan, just like I'm sure in the West, who
Of
like
course. Yeah.
fetishize the other side, and they're like, "Oh, I want to date an American. I want to date a Westerner." But the
That's true.
image that they have in their head is like some tall blonde dude, right?
Ah.
And the other thing, like of course there have been people who I've met and who are Japanese, let's say, and they're like, "Oh, you speak English? You're a Westerner. That's so cool!" Like,
They're
and like
impressed about it.
they're impressed, and like you can tell there's an interest because of that. But
Yeah.
for myself, on my end, like what do I have to be interested in them about?
That's true.
And
They're
it's hard.
Japanese. They're not
So are
from
99% of
not-
Japanese people.
They're not from Canada.
Like it's hard to really build a strong relationship on the foundation that one side just likes the other because they're a foreigner.
It is true though. Yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah, and I was sort of saying that I get the short end of the stick because like I look Asian, but I speak English, and maybe for a lot of Japanese people, if they date an English speaker, they're going to want someone who looks, what in their mind at least, like Western.
Correct. You're not blue eyes, you're not blonde hair.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can talk about the dating session in next round, okay? But I just wanted to get a little bit insight from your perspective for being there for 2.5, 3 years, you know?
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna, I know time's just a little bit up. I know you've been, thanks, for jumping in and probably, spending your Saturday with us there. So I'm sure you got better things to do, than hanging out with us.
He's got work to do. We got work for him to do.
Oh yeah, you're working me hard.
But I do want to end this episode, with a little bit of rant, or something you want to vent about, I guess. Jason, you're the guest. You want to start? Anything you want to just get off your chest? Any rude Japanese comments, curse?
There's always things that get off my chest. Well, like I'll try to say it as elegantly as possible, but like I can understand that I might come off as a bit harsh or like mean by saying this.
You're Canadian. How can you be mean?
I know. Well,
Impossible.
like I don't have any mean intentions here.
Yeah, of course.
But I guess it's like going off what you were saying and meeting people and dating and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm just going around like meeting people every now and then and just coffee or whatnot. And I talk to a lot of people here, Japanese and non-Japanese and whatnot. And like I don't have a very clearly defined end goal that I want in 5-10 years from now, but I have at least like a direction I want to head in.
I don't have a 5-10 year end goal. So
well, like I have, for example, like a monetary goal of like this is much money I want to save by that point.
Oh yeah,
but I don't.
Okay, that's different though.
It's a different goal.
But I don't have goals so specific that it's like I want a 2-garage house and I want this car and whatnot.
Gotcha.
I figure that those details will be filled in the future.
When you have money.
Yeah, when I have money, like get the money first, then worry about those things later.
Of course, yeah.
But like I've actively thought in many ways about my career. Like, am I doing something I like? Should I be doing something else? How do I get to the next step if I want to do something else? And yeah, it just feels like in general, a lot of people I meet, I don't know how to say this, are just like sort of lost or aimless in some sense. And I know there's a lot of.
Is it because are you meeting travelers though? I'm just wondering.
No, just like people who live here. They might be other foreigners, or they might be.
Or they're not as, I guess, motivated as you are.
I think that's it. Yeah. They're largely lost, and
I see.
It's like
they're comfortable. No, not necessarily lost. They could be comfortable or settled.
Yeah, and like there's nothing. I don't want to put people down, because like if that's the way you want to live your life.
You said this.
I'm sorry, Robert.
No, this is recorded.
This is being recorded. It's gonna be out into the world.
I know. I'm gonna get grilled for this.
But honestly, I think that's how most people feel.
That is how most people are. Yeah.
Like they just are going through life and they're not sure exactly where the next step is gonna be.
I mean, that's in general with everybody. I feel like okay, so in Florida, and that's the reason why when I moved out of Florida, because I've met, I have a great support of friends in Florida. I got no complaints about that. They're happy. So, but when I started meeting new people, or I guess try to date around in a sense, the people that I met, it was just not that's maybe the same, I guess, wavelength as me. That's one of the reasons. And then they were just happy what they are. And for me, I needed somebody that's a little bit more, I guess, my level of motivation or energy vibe, or in a sense. And it's hard to find that. So, and when I went to LA, I found that right away. And I was able to make friends that are at least that kind of standpoint, at least that kind of wavelength, right? That kind of motivation. That not only that jolted my own motivation as well, and that kind of energy. I obviously dating in LA was a little bit different than Florida. That's another topic to talk about. But to your point though, I see what you're saying though. Like you're not trying to be rude about it. You're just being pretty straightforward. Blunt.
Also, I found like moving out to San Francisco, I found a lot of people that are on the same wavelength as me. But also, I found people that are more motivated than I am.
Yeah, there's those people.
And I'm like, whoa, like I don't want to be Elon Musk. Like I don't want to be that motivated at something. Yeah. So there's a balance there where you're like, you need to find people around you that are at the same wavelength as you, or where you want to go. And it's hard to find. But like, you go through life and you find.
I've experienced that too, like dating people who are too set on something, and they sacrifice their health,
so much,
personal relationships in pursuit of that, and that's unhealthy too. I guess just like my vent in like a very simple way. It's just like it's tough to meet people who are on the same wavelength, and a lot of the people who I meet up with, and I ask, like, do you have any goals? Do you have any what are you hoping to accomplish?
Yeah,
and it's just like crickets, and I'm like,
well, it's a very hard question to ask though, right? I really think so. Like, think about it. Okay, so for me, I thought, I mean, I do have like a 5-10 year quote unquote goal, right? And I want to build a portfolio of different things, but that's about it, really. You know what I mean? Like, so like I'm not going to the details of, obviously I want to 10 houses by this age. No, nothing like that at all. It's just more like of where I want to be. But but the things that though it took me the last 4 years to figure this out, where like, okay, what do I need to do to accomplish these little things? What kind of soft skill sets I need to improve on the last 4 or 5 years to, to try to get to this level first? Because at the end of the day, for me, I was like, I took a step back and then identified that foundation. But I feel like the reason why I found that, I guess, that little self-awareness thing is because I was just surrounded with those people, though. You know what I mean? And so going to your original statement, like when I was dating in Orlando a little bit, you're right. I'm not bashing about the girls here. Like, they're great and all, but I guess the people I'm encountered with, like, they were happy what they were. They were, they were settling in a sense. And I just couldn't. For me, I did want something a little bit more. I know exactly what you're going through, but there's so many. But the things that you're going through so much is like, when I'm gonna find this type of people. Sometimes it's hard. It really is.
Yeah, you really have to search for those people. Because it's hard, especially in like areas, I don't know, like in Orlando or like in Jacksonville where I was, where it's just like people are there and they're there for life. Yeah, they're locals. They're never leaving. They're there. They're happy. And then you go to somewhere else where it's all implants. Like LA, like in San Francisco. I would expect Tokyo would have a little bit of that too, right? Like, where you just like have people that are just coming there because it's a big city.
That's true.
A little bit. But like the honest truth is, I feel like the world's most motivated people. Not that would say that I'm one of them. Like, but if you are a top talent in this world, I feel like you go to the States is the obvious answer if you want to make it.
Is that the image?
That's the impression I have. Even like the top people here as well, like the smartest Japanese people, all will go to the States. I came here because I wanted to experience it for a different reason. But the people coming to Japan, a lot of them are also just like, oh, I just wanted to live in Japan, sort of thing.
They actually want
here. Yeah, they didn't come here for
learn the culture. They wanted to learn the culture.
Yeah, they didn't come here for their careers. Let's say, for example.
I see. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Like if I were to move somewhere in Asia, it would be for culture, not for anything that was career-wise.
That's a good vent, though. I see what you're saying, though. I share the same frustration. All right, Robert. So what's your vent, quickly?
For me, my vent is it's very first world problem where my my Uber Eats.
Oh my god!
It just doesn't like. There have been multiple times where I order Uber Eats and it doesn't even show up. Like, it doesn't even show up to my house.
So do you think they just steal your order?
Do you pay for it?
No, it's paid for, but then I like tell Uber and then they refund me. But I have to go through that whole process, and then I'm starving, right? Like I'm still hungry. Like,
I got mad all of a sudden.
Like, so they probably stole your order. That's what it sounds like.
Probably, but like,
yeah.
Like they did this thing where like Uber Eats started being like, oh, like, take a picture of the order when you drop it off, and I want to say like 90% of the time it happens, but there is that 10% of the time, and maybe I just order way too much delivery. But like that, I get that 10% a lot, where it's like, oh, they didn't take a picture, or the picture is not what they like, a picture of nothing, and then they just took my order, or like I never comes
take
up.
A picture and then take it.
That's so crazy.
No, they like don't take a picture of where it's at. They just take a picture of something else, like, completely.
Oh, so they don't think Uber checks that. That's what happens.
Yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna take a picture of a chair, and then that'll be what it is.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
And it happened multiple times this week, and I was like, what the?
Oh wow.
What the heck happened? Like, normally this is pretty good. I don't get that many.
Do you get the same driver? I'm wondering. Do you get the same?
No, it's always a different driver too. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're winning the lottery there, buddy, a few times, man.
I'm like, what the heck? Like,
they're like, this kid lives in Millennium Tower. He doesn't need more food.
Hey, I put that out there, but yeah, it's they're like, oh yeah, he's living in spots. He's living in a good spot. Like, he doesn't need the food. Like,
that's true.
Otherwise, I'm sitting here eating pizza rolls all night. Like, it's difficult.
Nice,
it's a hard life.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, all right. So my vent is semi, I guess, first world country in a sense, I guess. So I was driving in Miami this afternoon, and I was going for a friend for lunch, and I'm like, it's 12 o'clock. Usually, it's not that busy. God, I was like, it's like feeling it's like literally being back in LA again. 12 o'clock traffic is like 6 p.m. traffic there. Like literally, it was so bad. I was like, I'm like, are you guys kidding me? And I'm like, and so I just started cutting left and right, trying to get through the lane, thing like that. And then I noticed 3 cars was following me at the same time. And as I was cutting left and right, I'm like, oh shit, they're following me, I guess, you know. And then I noticed that one of the back car, the furthest back car, is a cop car. I'm like, oh shit, I need to stop doing this.
Oh my god!
So once we got into the express lane where you can't cut anywhere, you just gotta go straight. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to there's 2 lanes with the express lane, so I'm just gonna go really into the express lane and stay on the right hand side until they pass me.
Yeah.
And so the 2 car passes me, and then the cop car, when he passes me, he looks at me, and he's like, and he did this thumbs up to me.
He did thumbs up. So he liked that you were moving it. Like he was probably following you too.
No, but I cleared the path, right? So I stay in the right hand side. He gave the thumbs up to me and then passes me. Keep in mind, the 2 cars that were behind me, they're already blew by me already, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as he gave the thumbs up to me, he turns the siren on and chases the other 2 cars.
Oh wow.
I was like, but it's more like I guess not an event, more like a relief in a sense. But I was so mad about the traffic though. But I guess for that piece, I was like, okay, you know what? I guess.
So do you think that? Oh, Miami's always been a city where you had to be an aggressive driver.
Oh, you had to be.
Always been that type of city.
But
do you think that it's gotten worse? Or
oh hell yeah, compared to I feel like okay, LA was bad enough, but Miami, I just asshole people. Just driving wise. I'm sorry. I just gotta say that straight up for. I don't care.
Definitely. That's why you have to be so aggressive.
They know they are assholes. They honk at you for like the stupidest thing. The light hasn't turned green yet. They know it's gonna turn green. They just honk at you right after it turns green. Yeah.
So LA wasn't like that. It's just a lot of traffic.
LA is a lot of traffic, but when they asshole, they just subtle. They just cut you off. That's what they do. They're just very subtle. They just cut you off.
Oh. I don't want to drive in a city. That's
all right, Jason. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. So, hey, I know you have a podcast. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? And you want to pimp that out a little bit?
Oh, okay. I don't have any like sales pitch here, but
well, how long you been doing it for, first of all? So,
maybe 3 or 4 months. Basically,
Nice.
my friend. I'll just give like a quick 1-minute backstory.
Yep.
My friend, who is also from Canada, now lives in Singapore,
Yep.
where he's working, and he's been begging me for years to make a podcast with him. And I always said no because I never listened to podcasts. And
Yep.
then COVID came. I was working at home nonstop, and I think I just like craved hearing human voices again.
Yep.
And I would just play every podcast I could find nonstop.
That's pretty
And then it kind of came to the point where he asked again, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it with you. And I like bought this microphone for it and everything.
Nice.
And yeah, it's essentially just about our experiences living in Asia, but being Canadians.
Okay.
Yeah, expats.
So wait, is he Canadian too also?
He's a Hong Kong Canadian.
Okay,
So it's sort of like the story of like not looking too different from the local people, but being different. And
there's a lot of Hong Kong people in Singapore. So
yes.
Yeah.
So I see what he's saying though, in a sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though. So I guess like you talk about that experience from that side of perspective, right? In your podcast a lot. So.
Yeah.
It was like
Well, actually, we kind of go off topic a lot and just talk about random stuff too.
It's okay, we do too. As
well,
you've seen.
I'm sure your podcast is not as long as ours though. Probably, right? So okay, how about this? Can you tell people where to find you?
Where to find me?
Yeah, where to find you?
Oh yeah, well the podcast is called Far From Home by
Nice.
Jason and Alex, and we upload it to the central place where podcasts go called Anchor, and so it can be found on pretty much anywhere, Spotify or Apple or Google Podcasts or anywhere else that you find podcasts.
So you have an Instagram account or something that people above you to find you?
Yeah.
Nah, we don't care that much. We just do it for shits.
We'll have a link in the description.
Okay.
There you go. All
Of,
right,
of
gotcha.
where you can find it. Yeah. So for everyone who's out there watching on YouTube, we want you to smash that like button, subscribe for more podcasts. Anyone listening on Apple Podcasts also, or Google Podcasts or any like Spotify or anything, you can leave us comments in the podcast apps, and don't forget to check out our website www.GFOThoughts.com for more episodes.
Yeah. And just in case though, if you don't want us to hear talk about any kind of topic, please leave some comment or just email us and stuff, whatever. You can find us at our handle.
Yeah. Also, if you want to come on, send us an email.
Yeah.
We need more guests. Like we'll have anyone on. It's
hey,
fine.
we have a waiting list, okay? We have a waiting list, okay, Robert?
We have a small waiting list. You might need to wait for a couple of weeks, but like at least having more guests, like we're never gonna be like, no, you can't come on.
Right. We will never deny you. How about that? Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Jason, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. We definitely learned a lot. Listen, I actually thought about pulling a ticket to buy it. So the round trip ticket right now to go to Japan, Tokyo right now from Florida is like $550.
Yep.
And that's
Didn't
really
you already
cheap.
buy one?
I kind of bought one, but then I put it on credit because I found out that they're quarantined still right now in Japan right now, I think for 2 weeks still. And so until they kind of loosen up the rule a little bit for international travel folks, I don't have time to kind of
you can't take off extra 2 weeks, Mike.
Yeah, but anyway, all right. So again, Jason, thanks for your time. We'll share your podcast and where people can find you and stuff. But until next time, everybody, thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
All
All right.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast. As always, we appreciate you. If you are watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and leave us a comment. If you are listening to us, please leave us your honest review on your preferred podcast listening platform. And as always, you can find us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GFOThoughts. Drop a comment and give us some feedback. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, see you then.